Can you remember when the season in England would be capped off with the FACup final? Those were the days, a classic end to the Premier League season with giants facing each other or a giant versus an underdog matchup. But in 2025 and now in 2026, we have seen the classic end of the season FACup final be played the week before the end of the season. So why is this now a thing? It is not new in the Cup's history. In 2001, Arsenal and Liverpool played the final before the end of the season to make the schedule easier for clubs in European football. Liverpool won the FA Cup that year. In 2011, the FA Cup final took place on May 14 to avoid double booking with the Champions League final, which was also held at Wembley, where Manchester United faced Barcelona. In 2013, the FA Cup final also had to be played before the end of the season because Wembley was hosting the Champions League final in which Bayern faced Dortmund. The reason why this is now played at the penultimate week of the season is there's a 6-year deal between the FA and the Premier League struck in 2025 to have it to be played the week before the season ends, and this is the second year of the deal. The agreement initially agreed for no fixtures to be played on the Friday before the final, but that didn't happen last season, and it also didn't happen this season as Aston Villa versus Liverpool played on Friday. The schedule allows only the FA Cup final to be played on Saturday with no Premier League games, and the rest of the Premier League games will carry on from Sunday. I understand that there is a deal between the FA and the Premier League to have it so, but did this agreement ultimately affect Manchester City's title run? Having them play the FA Cup final sandwiched between many games and a tight schedule rather than having them play on the week after the last game of the Premier League season like in seasons past? We'll discuss this at the end of the video. The new FA Cup final schedule has benefits. This will allow teams that have European obligations like the Champions League final have more space between the final Premier League game and the European final in order to rest and prepare for the final. So did the new format affect Man City's title challenge? Maybe, maybe not. They knew about the schedule and would have to prepare for it like they actually did by resting players against Crystal Palace for the final game against Chelsea. Having to play Bournemouth in 3 days' time is tough, but ultimately the schedule was designed to accommodate teams with European obligations. It was always classic in the good old days when the FA Cup final was the last game in English football, but we didn't have the extra UEFA competitions back then, so today's schedule is more accommodating for all parties. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Do you like the new format better? Or should something be done in order to make the FA Cup final the last game in England again? Till next time, bye.